Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. The whole gang is here. Thank you for coming back to our channel, and welcome back to our channel. And I want to welcome anybody here who's a new subscriber. This dog here is Jade, and this dog here is Ginger. And let me tell you, anytime I do a video, they come running when they see me get the tripod out because they love to be in the videos. But you guys are going to have to settle down here just a little bit because I've got to hold a notebook. I'm going to try to set them down. You won't be able to see them, but they're here. I guarantee you they're here. I had a really good day. I hope y'all had a good day as well. It was beautiful out. I got out. I went to the Dollar Tree and picked up a couple of things I was needing, and I went to Walmart and got a few things for groceries, and went to the doctor's and got my B12 shot. I had a really good day. I enjoyed the weather. When I came home, me and the girls went out in the backyard, and I sat in a chair out there for a while, and I let them play. It was just really nice to be in the weather. I'm enjoying it as much as I can while we've got it, because I know that old cold wind's going to blow soon, and then we're not going to have no beautiful weather to get out in. I mean, you can still get out in it, but you're going to have a coat and glove and a hat and all that stuff on. So anyway, today's video is one that was requested. I had done this video once before, and everybody that watched it really seemed to enjoy it, and they told me I should do another one. So this is actually a part 2 to the first one that I did. And I do have the questions written down on a notebook here, so that's what I'm going to look at. And it's called My First One Ever Part 2. That's what I called it. The first one was called My First One Ever. And I have like 11 things here that are true facts about me that I'm going to tell you. And if you girls will settle down here, we can get started on the video. And the first thing that I want to tell you is my first kiss ever. Now, my first kiss was not from my first boyfriend, believe it or not. My first boyfriend was kind of a puppy love. I guess I was in grammar school. And my first boyfriend, I think I was a freshman in high school. His name was Frank Jones. He had a car, so we were able to go out on real dates. We didn't just have to spend time at school, during recess and stuff like I did with the other one. And he's actually the boy that I got my first kiss from. And I think, if I remember correctly, it happened at a drive-in movie. We used to go to drive-in movies a lot. Back when I was growing up, drive-in movies were a thing. There was a lot of them. I lived in California at that time. There was a lot of drive-in movies. So we were at a drive-in movie, and I got my first kiss from my second boyfriend. And the next one is my first pot of beans that I ever cooked. Now, this one here is kind of funny. Y'all ain't going to believe it. I was so naive. I didn't know really a whole lot about cooking. I knew you put beans in a pot of water and cooked them. Well, we lived in a house that we had a cook stove, but we also had a wood stove. And I don't know what inspired me to do this, but I tried to cook the pot of beans on the wood stove. I guess I thought that it would give them more flavor, make them taste better. But anyway, honey child, let me tell you, I cooked them pot of beans for 3 days on that wood stove. I'd put them on there and cook them for a while, and then take them off, put them in the ice box, get them out, put them back on there, take them off, put them in the ice box. I honestly don't even think we were able to eat them. I think they turned to mush, or maybe they spoiled before I got them cooked. But I didn't know how to do anything like that. I was never taught how to cook a lot. My grandmother taught me. Oh, Jay just jumped down. Did you hear that? My grandmother taught me a few things, but I didn't really know a whole lot about that. And my first marriage, and this will help kind of explain to you why I didn't know how to cook. I was 16 and a half when I got married. My husband was 18. He was my high school sweetheart. I think he was a senior graduating, and I believe I was a junior. And we got married, and we decided on a Wednesday to get married that Saturday. And we were getting married in May, and that's the end of the school year, and it's also the time of the year when they have the junior-senior prom. So I was able to find kind of a wedding dress of sorts. It was actually a prom dress. It was short. It wasn't long. It was a white dress. I did have that, and I borrowed a veil from my sister-in-law, and we decided on Wednesday I don't know how we did it so fast, but we rounded everything up. We found a church and a preacher to marry us. We decided on Wednesday. We got married on Saturday. Most of my family was there. Pretty much all of his family was there. And the marriage lasted for 8 years. We did not have any children. And my first child. Now I'm going to tell you about the child that I did have. My first child, his name was Alexander Grant. And I was, let me see, I've written down, I was 29 years old when I had him. Now, when I was married for a long time, I didn't want to have children. I put off wanting to have children for a long time because I was enjoying my freedom. I grew up in a family of 9 kids and I had to babysit my brothers and sisters. When I got my freedom and got out from underneath my parents out on my own, I didn't want to be settled down with a child. So I waited until I thought I had Mr. Right, and we decided that we wanted to have a baby, and it was my second husband. I've been married more than once, and his name, like I said, his name was Alex, and I was 29 years old when I had him. After I had him, I decided that's it, no more. I don't want to go through that again. The pregnancy wasn't bad. I didn't have a terrible pregnancy. The delivery wasn't bad either, terribly. I had a natural delivery. I didn't have any kind of I didn't have that spinal thing, epidural, whatever they call it. I didn't have any kind of medicines, really. I actually had him naturally. Um, and it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I've seen these movies where women have babies and they scream and they holler at their husbands and call them names and stuff. It wasn't like that for me at all. I was expecting worse, and really, it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. It felt just like there was a belt around my stomach tightening up, and that was pretty much it. Um, he weighed 9 pounds, 13 and a half ounces. He was a really big boy, had a really big head. So they ended up cutting me to let his head come out because his head was really big. But yeah, late baby, I guess, late bloomer baby. And the next thing is my very first airplane ride. Now, as best as I can remember, because I don't remember a lot about it, it was from Missouri to California. My uncle had already set us up a house to live in, and we packed up what we could. I don't remember, we left a lot of it there, and he had a lot of stuff there for us because when we landed and went there, he picked us up, and our house was already there with furniture and everything. So I guess we left everything behind that we had, or sold it, or gave it away, or something. Like I said, I don't remember a whole lot about it. I was young. I really don't remember a whole lot about the airplane. I do know that I flew on an airplane, but basically, I don't even really remember walking onto the airplane. I just remember we were sitting in the airplane, it flew, and then it landed, and we got off. So I don't remember looking out the window at anything, or I just really didn't see a whole lot. But I have been, there goes Ginger. I have been on an airplane, but like I said, I was so young, I don't remember a whole lot about it. Now, next thing I want to tell you is my first DVD. When DVDs came out after VCR tapes lost their popularity, DVDs came out, and I had a DVD player. The very first DVD I got was a movie called Burglar, and it had Whoopi Goldberg in it, and I can't remember who the other stars were that played in it. I just remember that was my very first DVD was Burglar. Now, my very first, one and only, first and last, hopefully, I hope, ambulance time riding an ambulance. I've rode an ambulance, and I hope I don't ever have to ride an ambulance again. But it was from work. I was at work, and I had some kind of an episode. They don't know if I had a stroke, a mini stroke, or if I had a panic attack or an anxiety attack or whatever. I just got real weak and dizzy and felt like I was going to pass out, and I basically kind of did, and laid my head down on the work area, and they had to call the HR and the team leader and the manager and all that, and so they called 911, had an ambulance come and get me and take me to the hospital. They checked me out, they hooked up the monitors to me, EKG, didn't really tell me anything, couldn't really find any reason for it. Like I said, it was probably a panic attack or an anxiety attack. Could have been a mini stroke. I don't know. They didn't really give me any indication that it was a stroke, but I have rode an ambulance from my job to the hospital, and cross my fingers, hope I don't never have to ride in one again. Okay, the next thing that I want to tell you about is my very first place that I lived in after I got married. Um, let's see. Yeah, this, I was trying to think if I got this mixed up. It was in a town here in Missouri called Rumbar, very small town. Population was probably 15, and 10 of that was probably dogs. I'm not kidding you. It was a small little town, and we rented a little 1 bedroom house and had the wood stove in it. That's where I cooked the beans. We had running cold water, but I don't think we had a bathroom in it. I know we had an outdoor toilet. I do remember that there was an outdoor toilet. So we must not have. We had plumbing. We had water for the sink for washing dishes and cooking, but for some reason they never installed a bathroom. We had an outdoor toilet, and we took baths in one of those galvanized horse troughs, I guess you call it. We heat the water on the stove and then pour it in there and took our bath. Um, that's basically all I remember. I do know that we paid $50 a month to rent it. It was either 25 or 50. It wasn't very much. Of course, it wasn't much of a house either. We didn't live there very long because after a while, my husband left the job that he had and decided to go into the Air Force, and he joined the military, and so we ended up. He went to basic training, and I ended up going and staying with my grandma until he completed his basic training. And the next thing that I want to tell you about is my very first stereo system. Now, those of you who are around the same age as me, you're going to remember this. This was a piece of furniture. It wasn't just a little tiny thing. It was a big, humongous wooden cabinet with a lid that raised up. There was a radio and FM, AM on one side. There was a phonograph turntable on this side with knobs, and speakers were down in the bottom inside the wooden cabinet. Now, the one that we had didn't have a TV in it. It was just a stereo. They called it a hi-fi, hi-fi stereo. And we had the big vinyl LPs. That's what we played on it. Johnny Cash. We played Johnny Cash. Um, my mother-in-law helped us get it. We didn't have any credit because we were young kids. So she went to the furniture store with us and co-signed for us to get it. And we were set up to make payments on it for however long it took to pay it off. And of course, whenever my husband quit his job and decided to go in the Air Force, we couldn't take the stereo with us. And she was afraid, I guess, that we were going to not make the payments and then we're going to come after her. So she ended up coming and taking the stereo from us. I don't know what we played our records on after that. The first thing that I ever really cooked, besides the pot of beans, I kind of got this wrong, I guess. Okay, I'll change it. Say the first thing that I ever baked. I cooked the beans. This was something I baked because I do remember this. This was the first time I ever made this, and it was a chocolate cake. And my grandmother helped me make it. I remember I was so little that I couldn't get up to the counter. She put a chair up there, and I stood in the chair, and she helped me measure out and level off the ingredients and put it in there. Add the oil and the eggs and the milk and whatever went in there, cocoa and sugar, because we made it from scratch. We didn't use a cake mix. She helped me beat it up and put it in the pan. And when we served it that night at dinner, for dessert, she told everybody, Vicki made the dessert. I felt so proud because my grandmother was bragging on me that I made the dessert for my family. So that was when I made my first cake. I should have wrote that down, my first time ever making a cake, because that was. Of course, now when I make them, I can use the box mixes that they have. I do make them from scratch every once in a while still. But then that time I made it from scratch. Now, my last question that I'm going to have, this is going to be surprising to y'all. My first piece of my Hello Kitty collection. Now, believe it or not, I had to stop and think really hard on this one because I could not remember for the life of me if it was a stuffed animal, a pitcher, a towel, something that went on the bed, a toy, or what it was. I had to think really long and hard what was the very first thing that I ever got that was Hello Kitty. And I remember it was a piece of jewelry from Avon. At the time that Hello Kitty came out and was pretty popular, Avon was bringing out a lot of Hello Kitty jewelry. Necklaces, earrings, rings, bracelets, watches. And I remember I got like 3 pairs of Hello Kitty earrings. I got a couple of Hello Kitty necklaces. I got one of the Hello Kitty watches. I got just about everything that Avon came out that was Hello Kitty. But that was one of my first items that I got of Hello Kitty. And that's it. That's my list of my first one ever, part two. I hope y'all enjoyed this one as much as you did the last one that I did, because I don't know if I could think up of any more first of things in my life. If I do, I'll jot them down and maybe try to make another video. But part two, that's probably going to be part two and last of it. But anyway, you can hear Jade is in the other room barking at the front door. I've got the front door open, enjoying this wonderful weather. Don't have my heat on yet, so I'm letting that beautiful, cool air come in. And when it gets really cold, I shut the door, and then I put a blanket and warm clothes on me. But Ginger got down, but she came back. Here she is. She decided she still wanted to be in the video with her mama. She got down and went in there and barked with Jade for a little while, but she come back to be with me, didn't you, honey? So she's still here in the video, being my little sweetie. So thank you guys ever so much for coming and visiting with me tonight. My name is Vicki. Like I said, that's Jade in there barking her head off. This is Ginger. My channel's name, of course, if you're here, you know it. It's Living in the Moment. And there is a video in my playlist that tells why I named my channel Living in the Moment. And I would love for you to join if you haven't subscribed. And if you've got any of your friends that you think might enjoy my channel, I'd love to have them subscribe too. That would be great. And y'all just come back and see us any old time. Bye for this one.